What is the distinction between a reversion proceeding and a land titling proceeding? So I will give you 1 to 2 distinctions between these type of proceedings. Okay. So first, no, my way of simplifying this, reversion is revert, no, to return or to move back. So it will be from moving back the certain parcel of land from a state where it is a private property and move it back to form part of the public dominion or part of the ownership of the government. So that is reversion. Land titling is from a public from forming part of the public dominion, no? Or from being part of the public dominion, you have to prove or overcome the presumption that this property belongs to the government, and that you have to support it with allegations and evidence to prove that this property is in fact not part of the public dominion but forming part of the private property of a certain citizen or individual, no? So mo na siya, reversion is to move back, no? Bring back a certain property that was erroneously converted into a private property and make it form part again of the public domain. So in a case, no, the court said that since the case is one for reversion, this is I copied this from Supreme Court case, no? The court said that since the case is one for reversion and not one for land registration, the burden is on the state to prove that the property was classified as timberland or forest land at the time it was decreed to the landowner. So, kanimang good nga kaso, in this case, the government questioned the validity of the certificate of title or the land title of a certain landowner, saying that the classification of this property is, let's say, it forms part of the forest land or within a classification that is an inalienable public land. So, in a case for reversion, that is the burden of the state, because he's the one who alleges that the property forms part of the public domain. So he should be the one also to prove that this property is in fact forming part of the public domain and does not form part of a citizen's private property. To reiterate, there is no burden on the landowner to prove that the property in question is alienable and disposable land. So, in an action for reversion, the burden is on the government to prove that it forms part of the government's property, this certain parcel of land covered by a certificate of title and already awarded to one of its citizens. At this stage, it is reasonable to presume that the landowner had already established that the property is alienable and disposable. So, because if a land title is already issued, no, it is presumed that this property underwent certain land registration proceedings, and during those proceedings, it was proven that this property was or is a private property and does not form part of the public dominion. So in a reversion proceeding, the government must prove that there was an oversight or mistake or fraud in the inclusion of the property in the landowner's title because it was of public dominion. Fraud, oversight, or mistake or misrepresentation that caused the property to be titled when it should not have been titled in the first place. That is the burden of the government in a reversion proceeding. No? So this is consistent with the rule that the burden of proof rests on the party who, as determined by the pleadings or the nature of the case, asserts the affirmative of an issue So meaning, you who made these allegations must have the burden of proving also these allegations. So the burden is not with the landowner, but with the government. So that is it for now. If you like our page, please click the like button and subscribe with our videos. Thank you.